have like old school electronic drums on the wall.
Oh, that would be way cooler. They're just sound panels. Boring.
That's what I need back here is sound panels.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit. I have a window and Funko Pops. That's
Yeah.
basically my sound paneling.
Lots of absorption. There you
But
go.
I'm Jacob. I'm who you have been contacting with over email.
Hey,
That
yeah,
is,
nice to meet you. Yeah.
yes, nice to meet you. Is somewhat face to face.
Yeah.
I'm Jason. How are you?
Hey, nice to meet you, Jason.
I'm the fellow musician of the group, so I'll probably be picking your brain about the music industry these days.
Oh,
That's
'Cause
nice.
I think
right.
we both have a mutual hatred of the music industry.
Probably.
Yeah, Jason used to drum for a band that was signed to what label were you signed to, Jason?
Universal, and then
Oh.
we were on an indie label called Imprint Records, and yeah,
Mhm.
it was a bad time.
Basically, they took all of his money.
Yeah,
So
they took
I'm
all
sure
our
we'll be
money.
talking about music labels here in a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, we
But
can talk about
But,
that.
but if you
basically, what's going to happen is we have 40 minutes over the Zoom because we are very cheap people and we don't pay for a subscription. And
Jacob,
so we're just going to talk about Anxiety Fest here in Biloxi. We're going to.
Cool.
Oh, did I cut out?
yeah, you cut
Just
out
for
for
a
a second.
second. Yeah.
Your hamster quit running. That's what happened. I think. All right, so I'm just going to take over for him here because his internet's acting bad. So, uh, what we do this is just more conversational than anything. We'll just talk about the upcoming show you got coming up here on the coast, and talk about
Okay.
the music industry a little bit and about what you're doing, and we'll
Sorry
get
about that.
started.
Hopefully, I don't freeze anymore.
I think Jacob has an ad read at the beginning, and then I'll play the music, which you
Yes.
probably won't hear because I can't get it to go through Zoom, and then we'll introduce you and we'll get going.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, Jacob, you ready? He keeps freezing. So you know what? Screw the ad read this week because you keep freezing, Jacob.
I'm back, though. I'm back.
Okay, are you ready?
I'm back in the saddle. Yes, let's do it
All
before
right, here we
everything
go.
else fucks up.
3, 2, 1, go.
Are you managing a venue or putting together an event that needs a little more entertainment? Aquarius Productions can put a show together catered to your audience. Whether it's music or comedy, they will bring life to the space you provide. Are you a traveling musician or comedian looking for an extra gig? They can find a spot for you. Are you an up-and-comer unsure of how to get your song mixed, your music video put together, or your set filmed? Aquarius has your back. Message their Facebook or Instagram for details. And if you would like to help support the show, go to www.openmicers.com to subscribe to our Patreon. Let's start the show.
Oh, you know what that music means. It is time for the Open Micers podcast. My name is Jason Robbins.
I'm the forever frozen Jacob Craig.
Yes.
And our guest tonight will be appearing right here in Biloxi, Mississippi at B-Lux, July 3rd, performing at Anxiety Fest, Mississippi. She is also the CEO of Freak Machine Records and the front woman for the band Fit for Rivals. Please welcome the fabulous solo act, Miss Renee Phoenix. How are you doing today, ma'am?
Hey, what's up? I'm doing great. Doing great, feeling great.
It is so awesome to have you here. I love talking to musicians because I get to bitch about the music industry. And I know that's Jacob's favorite subject that I do, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. As a comedian, I live for, shitting on music.
Yes.
Nice.
So I like the name Anxiety Fest, like, because that's pretty much my everyday life. That's what I call my life, Anxiety Fest.
It's the soundtrack to your life.
Yeah. So tell us about the show coming up. Let everybody know the dealings of the show. What's going to happen?
Yeah, so Anxiety Fest is July 3rd in Biloxi. Bunch of really awesome bands playing. I'll be playing there. And I know the other LA, they're also going to be playing. And they are actually the first act that we have signed on to Freak Machine Records. So
Awesome.
yeah, I'll be doing a lot of shows with them coming up. Hmm.
I like
Hmm.
that name, Freak Machine Records. I checked out some of your music earlier, and as soon as you go to the site, there's a YouTube video for a song called Swallow. Holy
Yeah.
crap, that song rocks. I think that's my new favorite song right now.
Hell yeah. Thank you, man. Yeah.
But so we've already mentioned a couple of times now that you are the CEO of Freak Machine Records, and of course, you're on that label. Your band Fit for Rivals and the other LA.
Mhm.
What made you deviate from major labels to try to kind of develop your own label? I mean, what's kind of the story behind why you essentially went into your own business?
Yeah. So I've been doing this for a while, probably 10 years now. Just like, doing bands, Fit for Rivals, my own stuff. And for a long time, we were chasing that carrot on a string, like trying to get that major label deal, like, oh, that's going to be the end all, like, that's going to be exactly what we need. And, we learned the hard way that's not what you need. That's actually what you don't need in a lot of ways. And it held us back. And it sounds like you, Jason, as well. And gosh, so many people that I know have had horrible experiences within that label system,
Hmm.
whether they're getting ripped off or they're just not, they just like don't know what all of it involves.
Yeah.
So I started Freak Machine Records not only for myself and my acts, but to bring on other bands and to help them out, help them avoid like all the traps that you can get into in this industry, and just genuinely help develop and grow artists' careers and work with people that I've enjoyed working with over the past 10 years. So, keep my circle tight and, hopefully help a lot of people, and instead of being bitter about my experiences, what better way to counter that than to help people,
Yeah,
you
you'll end
know
up like me if you stay bitter.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still like bitter about some of it. I've had my fair share of good and bad experiences, but I'm just trying to stick with the positive. you
Yeah,
know
it always seems like the bad experiences outweigh the good, especially in my case.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I don't really know what because I kind of hit my heyday around 2004, 2005, and you would seem to have gotten your start around 2009. So you
Yeah.
kind of came after the whole. When we got signed to Universal, it was in the middle of the whole transition, like between of when like MP3s and Napster and all that stuff was going on. So it was kind of like a really tumultuous period for the record labels, and they were all scared to death and just like didn't know what to do. And we were in the
Right.
middle of all that, and they tried to take as much money from us as they possibly could. And us being stupid kids, we signed a really bad contract. So that if there's one bit of advice I can give to anybody that wants to be in any form of entertainment, read what you sign. Have a lawyer read it.
Hmm.
Don't get bullied into anything. Read everything you sign.
Yeah,
Anything.
have like two lawyers look at, like
Yes.
just as many people as you can to look
Yes.
over what you're about to sign. Just, give it a thorough read, because I feel a lot of people see that like major label, like, oh, Atlantic Records, Universal, whatever. And they just get so like kind of starstruck about it almost.
Hmm.
And they think like that's going to be the solution. That's what's going to get me to whatever your, I guess, interpretation of success is, that's going to get you to that point. And a lot of times it just doesn't work out that way, either
Yeah.
like a bad deal that you signed, or you're not ready for the type of work that starts after you sign the deal. Then this work starts really from
Yeah.
there, you know?
That's the thing. I mean, record labels, especially back in my time, and probably not as much now, but they would sign, 50 bands, but only
Yeah.
one of them would get any kind of attention and any kind of push, and the rest of them would be stuck in these crap deals that they took, and like they're not albums are not getting released, they're not making money, and if you are
Hmm.
lucky enough to make some money, you know there's this thing called creative accounting where no matter how much money you generate, you always owe more. Like I'm always wondering, like, how did that work?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I know a lot of bands who've gone into that situation where they sign to a major deal, they think all the problems are solved, but then, like you were saying, well, 50 other bands just got signed. You get lost in the mix, like your
Hmm.
A&R guy gets fired. It's just
Exactly.
like one thing after another. Then all of a sudden, your record's just sitting on the shelf,
Yep.
and you can't do anything with it because they own it, you know?
Yeah,
So,
and I think that's kind of what happened with us too. You know, we got signed, and then like the whole management of Universal like changed hands. You know, right as we were getting everything done, and then it was kind of like, you know, we were just tossed away like trash, and
hmm,
it was really, it breaks your soul because it's like that's
yeah,
everything you're striving for, and like you said, that carrot on the stick where you're doing everything you're being told to do, and
uh-huh,
nothing. It like the you know the rug gets pulled out from under you, and you just watch all of your dreams just go. Whew. And then they go,
yeah.
"Yeah, you owe us $300,000," and you're like, what?"
Yeah. It's like, let me give you the $5 I have in my pocket
Exactly.
right
Like you
now.
realize I'm eating cheese crackers that I stole from the back room at the last show, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's like one of the things with Freak Machine too. I want to keep the roster really small and tight and not take on too many bands. Like we're starting with the other LA and we're good right now. Like I'm not looking to sign on like another 15 bands or whatever. Whatever act that we take on next, I want to make sure we have all eyes on it. We can have attention on it because I've been in that position that, you've been in and so many other people have been in. I remember like for a year straight, Fit for Rivals was doing showcases for these labels. Like
Yeah.
we were flying out to them, they were flying to us. Um, I remember at the time we were rehearsing in a single wide trailer in the middle of nowhere. I mean, you could feel this thing just rocking, because we had a full PA set up in the kitchen, and like these big honchos are coming in like from Atlantic Records, and it's like, sit on our couch, I guess. That's the drum set was in the kitchen, like everything was just crammed in there. There was a chihuahua that our guitarist had that had no teeth and bad breath. It was just like sitting there with like these
Sounds like Jason.
executives and just like,
I would love to
yeah,
sit and just talk to you about all the nightmare scenarios that
yeah,
musicians have to go through. Like I remember I went to a showcase. We had a showcase once, and I don't remember who it was for, but it was literally in like the middle of this sort of like Applebee's sort of restaurant. Like we walked in, we're
nice.
expecting like, you know, like a metal club or something. We get there, and it's like this restaurant, and the stage is like 8 foot by 8 foot. Like we're just all like right up against one another on the stage, and like you hear over in the corner like table 7, your chicken is ready.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, it was one of those
perfect.
scenarios.
Yeah. Yeah, we've done a lot of showcases. I remember this other one we had. They have like these SIR rooms, they're called, and it's just like a big white kind of sparse room. You're not even on a stage, you're just like at the same level of all these people who are just like there staring at you with their arms crossed.
Yeah.
Like, all right, monkey
Mm.
dance. And it's
Oh
Exactly.
just the most
man.
awkward thing because it's like you get done with the song, it's like, do you guys like it? Was that
Yeah.
good?
Been
Anyone?
there.
I've
But
been there as a comedian as well.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
More
very
agonizing.
similar.
yeah,
Get
Um
done with a joke, it's like, oh, like that. Oh, okay.
yeah.
yeah,
Uh, it's
crickets.
soul
Yeah,
crushing. But
yeah,
but like as far as your label goes, I mean, like you know, with the bands you sign and things like that, it must be a better way to do it because you know, with the world we live in, with as far as like social media and stuff like that, and with YouTube and all the different ways to get your music out there, it's got to be a little bit easier to run, uh, you know, an independent label these days, especially if you have musicians that are willing to like work to get their stuff out there.
yeah, definitely. And with Freak Machine, we're kind of we started ahead of the game with this label just because of the Fit for Rivals fan base. So our primary fan base is like on YouTube. So when we got into this, like you were saying, like around 2009, 2010, we were, I mean, we started like on that whole internet trend. Like that was our way to get everything out. So I feel like we've been very, I guess, like intelligent and like forward thinking about all this stuff, like how to get stuff out there. Um, so yeah, I think like we had a head start, so that's nice. Yeah.
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 And so, is this the first time you're going to be performing in Biloxi? You ever been to Biloxi before?
I want to say Fit for Rivals played there. I want to say we have. I'm not 100% sure, but I think we have. There was like a period where, like a year and a half, we were just touring, nonstop. And I'd wake up and be like, what city are we in? Where am I? You know,
I've
where
been
have
there.
you driven me to?
I understand that for sure.
Yeah.
Well, if this is your first time in Biloxi, I will be more than happy to show you where all the fun spots are. But
Nice.
what kind of show can we expect from you when we do buy tickets to Belux July 3rd? I mean, and so recently I just got off tour, right? I was in Mobile and I stumbled into a punk rock concert, and I actually got my nose broken in a mosh pit.
Oh, wow.
So, am
Well,
I
it's a
gonna get my
true
nose
punk
broken in
rock
a mosh?
experience. There you
It,
go.
oh, I was the most punk rock person in the room. I was the only one pouring blood out of my nose. But am I gonna get my nose broken in this concert? Please tell me yes.
Yes.
Well, if you don't, I'll be
Absolutely,
more than
yes.
happy to break it for
I was
you.
gonna say, I'm sure you can find
God damn
somebody who'd be willing to,
Oh, I'm
do that
sure.
for you.
But I mean, how crazy does a Renee Phoenix concert get? Is basically what I'm asking.
I'm gonna be playing all new material that no
Excellent.
one's heard. I think I'll have one single out, that you guys will hear by the time we have that concert. But this like new batch of songs that I have, they're very I don't want to say metal, but you can definitely open a pit up with these. Like Fit for Rivals has always been like a really like rockin' awesome time, and people mosh and everything to that. But the Renee Phoenix stuff is a little harder. Like there's breakdowns, there's a lot of electronic stuff. It's kind of like a combination of like Nine Inch Nails, Bring Me the Horizon, some like Paramore kind of stuff in there too. But yeah, it's a lot harder, and I'm really excited. I'm really excited to have that opportunity to open a pit up.
Yes.
I'm stoked to do that.
Oh my God, is there anything better in the world when you're up on stage and there's like whether it's hundreds or thousands of people in an audience and then a pit opens up while you're playing. That's like the
Oh my
best
gosh.
feeling
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah, there's a few songs I'm really excited because it's just like the bridge part comes and it's just like a perfect opportunity for me to just hype everyone up and be like 3, 2, 1 and then just go, like I'm really stoked on that.
When the band breaks down and you know they're about to come back in and everything's building back up, you better get the hell out
Mhm.
of that pit if you don't want to get your
Yeah,
ass kicked.
yeah, yeah. So I'm stoked. These are gonna be like my first show as just Renee Phoenix is coming up here in Nashville on the what is it, the 18th is going to be my first show as just Renee Phoenix. Everything else has always been like under a band name.
That's cool.
So,
Where are you
yeah,
playing
it's
in Nashville?
huh?
Where are you playing in Nashville?
It's called The End. It's
Yeah.
right across from Exit In, which I've played at Exit In. I've never played at The End before. So,
That sounds really familiar. I think I may have played there at one point.
nice. Yeah, it holds like I think about 250 people, so it's a smaller place,
Mhm.
but I love that. I love the smaller venues where you can just like pile
Oh
everyone. It's
yeah.
very punk rock. Everyone's just on top of each other,
Mhm.
especially with COVID and everything, like the restrictions lifted. I'm super stoked to get back out there and play some shows.
I think you'll really like being at Belux. That's a really cool place. I love the way that place is set up, especially the actual room itself where the music's going to be and where we do
Hmm.
comedy and stuff like that. It's a pretty sizable room, so
Cool.
If there's 250 between 250 and 500 people in there, it's gonna get nuts.
Nice. That's what I like to hear. Yeah, I've never played at Belux before.
Yeah, it's a
So,
really cool place. It's probably my favorite place around here right now.
oh,
Like
nice.
to just
Okay,
go
that's good
to.
to hear. Yeah,
Yeah, and
very cool.
Jacob used to. We were doing the punching bag machine last time we were there, and Jacob has like orangutan strength. I don't know what is going on with him.
Yeah. I actually used to box for a little while. A lot of people don't realize that. So I broke the record, and then someone else like got all macho and broke my record. And so I went and broke that motherfucker's record, and no one could break that.
Yeah, I
Nice.
tried to do it. I hit the bag once and got like a third of what Jacob did, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm old. I'm gonna go sit down now."
Yeah, you're gonna break a hip doing that one day.
Probably. I think I broke something that night. I don't know. Drink some more milk or something.
Drink more milk.
Yeah.
But so
That's
I
cool.
know.
There's like arcade games and stuff inside, or
Oh yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
There's a couple. There's a big pool room in there too, in the very
nice.
front. So it's a really cool place.
Cool, cool.
I think Jacob's frozen again. I think the hamster that
Yeah.
runs his internet just keeps freezing. I think the hamster drowned because it's been raining. So.
I'm sending a strongly worded email to AT&T directly after this.
I need a new hamster for my wheel.
Yes. So we do have is this show a part of the sound do anything for the show that's coming up, because we have another podcast out from here, and actually it's the singer of my band. He does, it's called The Sound, and they do a lot of independent music,
Mhm.
and they do a lot of the shows down here, and they have a lot of followers like on YouTube, and they do a lot of Facebook lives and stuff like that. So if you
Cool.
haven't heard of them, I strongly suggest getting a hold of them. It's the Sound at the Sound 228. And if
Okay.
anybody listening to this has never checked out the Sound, they actually have an app for phones where you can go and like listen to the music they're pushing and stuff. So they've done a
That's
really good
cool.
job. So I would highly suggest getting with
See,
them
that's a
before the
way
show.
of morphing and to the
Yes,
times and everything. That's great.
exactly. It's why
Yeah.
I wish we had been around. I have a band now, and we're kind of old and not doing much. We play like once every 3 months,
What
but
do you play?
I play drums.
Oh, nice.
So I was gonna say,
Nice.
if you have any bands that need a drummer, let me know. I might be old, but I can still rock.
Hell yeah. Nice. No, I love the drums. I've recently been playing like a little bit more. I think the drums, it's probably my favorite instrument just because you get to beat the shit out of something, you know?
Yeah, it's good for your mental health. Whenever you're just pissed off, just go beat the hell out of the drums for a little while. You
Yeah.
always feel better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jacob, are you back now, or are you frozen again, or what's going on over there?
I can hear you, but y'all, can you?
You
Good
sound like a
Lord.
robot.
Yeah, you're roboting out, man.
Well, God damn it. This is the worst. This is the worst for me.
Oh man, it's not normally like this. So we'd love to have you back on the show. Please know that it's not normally this
When
bad.
it's not fucking raining.
Yeah.
Yeah. All good.
That's how our internet is in the South. Like when it rains, the internet goes out. Like how stupid
Yeah.
is that?
I think I'm back though for at least like maybe 5
Well,
minutes.
good.
or
Get your
something.
questions in while we can hear you.
Okay. So I noticed it looks like you're actually in your home studio right now, if I'm not mistaken. I know I see a lot of recording equipment behind you.
Yeah.
New music. What are you recording? What are you working on? I know you said you're doing nothing but new material at Belux. I mean, are you working on recording that and getting that out there?
Yeah, I'm done with that whole EP that I put together for myself. So I'm just gonna be playing all those new songs, and then I think I'm gonna be playing one or two Fit for Rival songs, just like the more notable ones, because I know that's what people want to hear. So I'm gonna do that for them. And yeah, Fit for Rivals as well. We are working on new material, which I think is going to come out. We're hoping around October. Um, so yeah, just work, work, work. New music left and right, and I'm stoked on it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mhm. Keeping busy. Yeah.
So these days, do you have like your own home studio? Like, how are you guys recording these days?
Yeah, so I have my own little home studio set up here that, I can do vocals and do demos, and write and everything here. And for Fit for Rivals, I go down to Thomas's place. So Thomas is my partner in Fit for Rivals. It's him and I basically since the beginning. And I'll go to his studio and then we just track everything out and do everything ourselves. We're pretty self-contained these days.
Yeah.
And then for my stuff, I worked with Jordan and Sam from a band called Koi. I don't know if you guys have heard of them, but I'm going to be playing with them at the end of this month too in North Carolina, Charlotte at Amos's South End, I think it's called, which I have played there before. It's a cool venue. So yeah, I worked with them, and again, it was kind of like a home studio setup. No big studios with the big consoles and all that.
Yeah, no.
We're pretty self-contained. It's just how it
Yeah.
is.
And
Yeah,
really, you don't even need that anymore. I
Yeah.
mean, you don't
yeah,
need all the buttons or whatever, and the guy who pretends to know what he's doing, and at the end he's like, "All right, that's $100,000."
Yeah.
You don't
yeah.
need that. You can do it all yourself and get the same quality.
Or better quality.
In
Fit for
some cases, yeah.
Rivals, man. We had this producer. I'm not going to name names, but here's another fun story. Um, so we went to one of those big studios with the consoles and all the analog gear, and we're super excited because I love analog gear. Like, I think it sounds great. I still prefer it over, mixing in the box, they call it, just like all digital. And, we were stoked because this guy worked with a lot of big artists like Lady Gaga, and we're like, all right, let's do this thing. We got the recordings back. It sounded like shit.
Hmm.
It sounded like it was recorded through a tin can. We're like, were we just in a nice studio? Like, what did we do? We redid the entire album with our friend in his home studio and
Mhm.
released that. We didn't use any of the recording that we did with this big time producer guy. It's just, yeah, sometimes it's just better to keep it with people
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
yeah,
I know that our sponsor for this month, Aquaries, I mean, they produce their selling point is we produce Hollywood style recordings and videos for people on a local level. And they actually do. Like there's tons of people popping up like that who can
nice.
do as good as Hollywood with less equipment and better customer service and just,
Hmm.
give everyone a better experience.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's a
that's the
shame
cool thing
how
about
that can work out.
and that's the
Yeah.
cool thing about today's world, like especially for creative people. There's so many ways to actually do the things you want to do now, and it's cheaper.
Hmm.
There's like when I was a kid and wanted to make movies, you couldn't because you had to have like big
hundred
cameras and
thousand dollar
films. Yeah,
camera and like
exactly. And now
true.
people are making movies on their iPhones. Like it's crazy. I
Mhm.
love this
Mhm.
world we're living in, especially with music. Like, I have a friend of mine, the guy, Tony Byrne, who was from the band Byrne, who did our theme song for the podcast, and I played drums on. Like, that was all done
Cool.
in at his home studio. Like, he's got
Yeah.
a really cool home studio setup. He's got the big giant kit of it's acoustic drums, but they're triggered.
Oh,
And
nice.
so
Yeah.
I can just walk in and start playing, and he starts riffing, and you can sit there and write a whole album just right there in a bedroom that's been converted into a studio,
Mhm. Mhm.
and you don't
Yeah.
have to
No,
spend
a
half a
lot of
million
musicians.
dollars.
Yeah, a lot of musicians. I mean, you can learn anything on the internet. On YouTube. You can just learn how to do all of it.
Yeah,
You just have to have that want to learn and the time to do it. But yeah, a lot of artists, I mean, use like GarageBand even. Like take
yeah,
for
Mhm.
instance, like Lil Peep. I don't know if you remember him.
Oh,
I
rest
mean,
in peace.
yeah, like he blew up and he was just recording stuff on GarageBand,
Yeah.
and he blew up. So it doesn't matter. What matters is you have great songs, great material, and the drive to do what you want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're coming up on the last couple of minutes of the show here. I wanted to ask you what kind of is your plan for, your record label? Like, what's kind of your let's say your 5 year plan? Like, what's the future look like?
How bad do you want this job? What's your
Yeah.
5 year plan?
Oh gosh, 5-year plan. I mean, my main goal is to help artists achieve a level of success that they want to achieve, to be able to have careers in the music industry and have fun, and to not worry about, all these stories that we just told within this time frame, like all those pits that you can fall into. I just want to help people have great careers, put out great music, and yeah, I think have some fun, put the fun back in there.
I just thought about something. Maybe I should have a side hustle, like a side business where I'm a consultant for young musicians and tell them what to do and what not to do.
I mean, God knows there's probably so many people out there who need it. Because with like the amount of resources that there are online and like places that you can go, there's also, the same amount of not so great resources out
Yeah.
there. People can fall into like just putting thousands of dollars into this, that, and the other thing instead of, allocating that money to something that makes more sense,
Yeah.
or would do better for them. Um, so yeah, I think you'd probably have a lot of work cut out for you if you did that.
Yeah, I would think so. But I would actually, it would be almost like a calling where it would actually
Mhm.
make me feel good to like steer people clear of the sharks that are out there. Because there's a lot of shitty
Yeah,
people out there that will take advantage of you in a
exactly.
moment's notice.
This has been a healing experience for me, like working with the other LA. I didn't expect myself to feel like that, but after working with that band and developing them and helping them on their journey, it really healed a lot of stuff inside of me that I
Yeah.
guess I was bitter or mad about, and I didn't know it would have that kind of effect. So you should do it 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I had to do therapy, after
Yeah,
everything fell
same
apart
here. Yeah.
back then because it was a hard time in my life after, everything fell apart. Like around
Yeah.
the same exact time, the label dropped us, the band broke up, and then my grandfather died like a week
Oh,
later, and it
yeah.
was too much for one person to deal with, and I checked out for like three
Yeah.
or 4 years. I don't even remember like 2006 to 2009, like that whole that whole 3 years. Like I just don't even remember what happened. Like I couldn't
That's
tell
Yeah.
like
you anything I did. I just checked out.
that's like one of those stories that old musicians have. Like, I didn't pay taxes in the
Yeah,
90s.
pretty much. Dude, it's rough. It was a rough time, and I don't want to see anybody go through that. Especially creative people that all they want to do is just get their stuff out there. And yeah, and the bad thing about the entertainment industry is it's full of sharks. You know,
Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. I agree. I agree.
so God bless you with what you're doing. Like
Oh,
the
thank
label and everything. Just like I'm so happy to see you doing that, and I
Thanks.
if you need any help with anything, please let me know. Like I will be, a voice of if anybody needs any advice, like send them my way, and I'll be like, do this, don't do that.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah.
But where can everybody follow you on the interwebs?
On the interwebs, well, if you just go to freakmachinerecords.com, everything is there. It's like a landing page for all of our acts and like the Facebooks and the Instagrams and, all the, gosh, there's so many social media channels.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. But if you just go to freakmachinerecords.com, I'll take you to the YouTube, to whatever you're looking for, it's there.
And I highly recommend it. If you haven't heard any of her music, just go to that front page right there and just listen to the song Swallow. Holy crap, that song rocks. My new
Thanks.
favorite song.
Hell yeah.
And
Jam it.
I can't wait to meet you when you come into town. I'm definitely going to be there for the show. So
Me as well.
Nice.
yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, everyone come on out to the show. It's going to be a hell of a time. I'm super stoked to put on a hell of a show
Yeah.
for you guys.
And
Yes.
tickets are on sale now. So, Jason, why don't we go ahead and put that ticket link in the description for the
Okay.
show? So people,
Do you know how much the tickets are so we can tell them how much to expect?
I believe it's 15 advance and 20 at the door.
Sounds
Okay.
about right.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
If not, whatever.
Just bring a 20. Just bring
Yeah,
a
just
20.
bring a 20.
No, actually,
Come rock out.
bring
Get your
30.
nose broke in a mosh pit.
Bring 30 because they got good drinks, and they got hot dogs too. Pretty
Oh,
good hot
and bring
dogs.
enough money for merch, man. If you
Oh,
want us to
yeah.
actually support these bands,
Yes.
you gotta buy a
Mhm.
ticket and you have to buy merch to actually
Yeah.
support anybody. So
Yes.
please bring enough pocket money to buy a t-shirt, buy a sticker, whatever the bands may have.
Yeah.
Bands live off merch money. I know that for a fact. So please
sure
buy all
do.
the merch you can.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you so much for hanging out with us. We definitely want to have you back on the show. After the big show on the 3rd and everything, we'll have you back and see how you like Biloxi and if you think you'll
Yeah.
be back or not.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'd love to be back. And thank you so much for having me.
You're
It was
very,
fun.
very welcome. Jacob, anything you would like to throw out there before we leave this evening?
Absolutely. I just wanted to say it is June 2nd, so happy Pride.
Of course he.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month, everybody.
I'll end that sentence.
To maybe celebrating. I'm frozen again, aren't I?
Yes, you
I
are.
fucking knew it.
I got
I'm
you. I
frozen
got the
again.
end of the sentence. I finished it. Happy Pride
Okay.
Month.
Happy
Yeah.
Pride Month to everyone who may be celebrating. Tune in next week. We're going to be talking to a local comedian who's doing very big things over in Mobile. He has a show where he's hosting for Sean Patton coming up. And I just got off tour with him, so he's a very funny guy. And please go to our merch store, man. www.tpublic.com/stores/open-micers because bands survive on merch and so do we. So if you want a t-shirt, sticker, pin, whatever, it's really going to help us keep the lights on here. And that's it for me. I'm going to go fucking hang myself.
If you would like to, let me play some music here. If you would like to follow us, it's at Open Micers Podcast on Facebook, at Open Micers on Twitter, and either one of those you can follow all the links to get our merchandise, Patreon, all that sort of stuff. We do extra episodes on Patreon every month, so go support us over there. And thank you again, Renee, for hanging out with us, and we will see you on the 3rd. Everybody go buy tickets. Go buy them now.
Hell yeah.
That was an excellent show. Thank you very much.
Awesome. No, thanks for having me. That was a lot of fun to talk about all this stuff.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. And I'm pretty sure Zoom's going to kick us out here any second.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for watching on Twitch and all you people that watch on YouTube as well. Goodbye.